Good morning and welcome to the big debate. Should you back up your hard drive? Of course, this is Monday morning. The debate is between, of course, myself and Hewie Poplock. I want to thank Hewie for a great presentation he just did. I agree with everything he said. Both Hewie and I have taught computer technology for a very long time. Unfortunately, what he's told you is the old rhetoric, which of course we have been teaching for many, many, many years. I am going to argue today that backing up your hard drive in 2022 not only is going to cost you a lot of money, it's not necessary, and it can get you into some big trouble. So let me explain why I do not back up my hard drive. All right, let's back up in Windows 10. We're going to come down here to go back up and restore Windows. What? Windows 7? It's the same menu in Windows 11. That's 20 years old. Click this, and we're going to come up to Backup. All right, Backup or Restore Files. Let's click Create a System Image. That sounds like a good idea. Let's come along here, and we're going to set this up. So we're going to create a system image. And we're going to come over now, and it says this drive cannot be used. It says this drive cannot be used to store a system image because it's not formatted. Oh man, this is getting complicated. Reason is nobody ever uses this. Why would Windows 11 have the same menu? We all know that Windows 7 came from XP. Now I'm going to show you 3 slides, and I want you to tell me what all 3 have in common. All right, so this is the first slide, and this is the tragic fire in California. Hundreds of thousands of people lost their homes. This is the tornado that went through Kentucky, and again, mass devastation. People lost their homes. And these are the floodwaters of the Fraser Valley in British Columbia this year with the massive flooding. Again, people lost their homes. So what do all these 3 disasters have in common that affected so many people? They ran for their lives. They had seconds to make a split decision to live or die, and they had to flee. Now, if they had had a backup of their hard drive sitting in their house, or even on their property, they never would have been able to retrieve it. Another reason why backups of your hard drive just don't work. I went and got out of the closet my 2014 Toshiba laptop, and here it is. This computer had a total hard drive failure in 2014, 1 year before Windows 10 came out. I was stretching it a little to try and make this work, but on a Tuesday morning, I had a total hard drive failure. I sort of knew this was going to happen, so I called SOS, Serving Our Seniors, a computer tech company that I dealt with a lot in Mesa, Arizona. They said, Ron, bring your computer in tomorrow. I knew it was likely the hard drive and certainly wasn't going to tackle this problem, as I'm not any good at fixing internal parts of laptops. I don't know how to take them apart. Maybe some of you in the audience do, but most of you wouldn't, and you would take them to a computer repair store. And I did that. And the next morning I took my computer in. I picked up a spinning drive at Best Buy for about $35. They didn't really have solid state drives then, and had my computer back the next day with a sharp, fresh, crisp install of Windows 7. So what did I do? Well, it was being repaired because, of course, I use my computer every day. I simply picked up my Chromebook, logged into my Chromebook, and all my stuff was there. When I got my crisp Windows 7 machine back that had been all loaded and fixed up for me, that afternoon, I simply logged into my Google account and all my stuff was back where it should be. And yes, there were a couple of programs that I had to load, but it all happened very quickly. Did I back up my hard drive? No. Did I restore from my hard drive? No. It is a bad thing to do. In fact, I asked SOS and I've asked Best Buy, What happens when people bring in their image backups? Well, that's a very expensive proposition, and a lot of them charge up to $200 an hour, and often it takes over 6 or 7 hours to restore an image backup because they don't do it all the time because nobody does it, and they don't understand the software, etc., etc., etc. So if you think you can repair your hard drive, if you think you can take your laptop apart, if you think you can restore your image backup, and you can do all those things, well, go ahead. But the average person can't. So backing up your hard drive is certainly not needed in 2014, and it isn't needed in 2022. All right, three reasons you don't need to back up your hard drive. First, backup software is complicated, and the restore function must be confirmed. In other words, you must turn around, have another system or computer, and actually restore the image backup to make sure it works, or you never really know. Now, in the software company I was involved with, we charged $6,000 for each individual backup and restore service we provided. So it is expensive. Now, the reliability of your hard drives has certainly changed over the past few years. This last year at Tech for Senior, we discussed the spinning drives and how unreliable they are. Certainly, most computers now are sold with solid-state drives. These are very reliable and should be your primary drive in your computer today. The third factor that's changed is, of course, Windows 10 is much easier to install than it was many years ago. Windows 7 was really difficult, as was Windows 3, and all the previous editions were very, very hard to install. Whereas Windows 10, I bet anybody in this audience could install Windows 10 today. So it's very easy to do, and I'm sure Windows 11 will be the same. So those are 3 more reasons why you do not need to back up your hard drive. All right, so this is my studio. Let's have a look. Now, these are the accounts that I use on a daily basis. I showed you this slide because these are all protected by two-factor authentication. But let's see what accounts I actually use on my computer. Well, there's Google, there's Microsoft, there's Amazon, Facebook, LastPass, PayPal, GoDaddy, Twitter, and MailChimp. So what do all these software programs have in common? And I will tell you, they're all based in the cloud. They're all backed up to either Microsoft OneDrive or Google Drive. They're all in the cloud. So again, on my computer, if it does not function, I simply go to my alternate computer, log in, and they're all there. I don't need to back up the hard drive. All right, let's talk about my Quicken software. So Quicken will automatically back up to a separate directory. I also back up to the SSD, my solid state 2 terabyte drive you see in the video here. And I do this on a daily basis after I use Quicken. So there are 2 copies, one on my hard drive, one on my solid state drive. Now within the solid state drive, I also have Google Drive back up that file to the cloud. So there are always at least 3 or 4 copies. And once a month I take, as you'll see, there is a separate hard drive. It's a Western Digital hard drive that I have, and I back up all my files, my Quicken files, onto that separate portable hard drive and unplug it from the network. So you'll see it sitting there. So that is my final copy, which could never be compromised if I had a ransomware attack or something, because it's not connected. That's how I back up my very important files, but not my hard drive. So in closing, don't back up your hard drive. Backing up Windows is not needed and leads to frustration. Restoring an image backup is expensive and not needed. Use online backup for important files, and choose a safe, reliable backup strategy that meets your needs in 2022.